Okay, so this is something I'm trying for the first time. I'm not sure if this is going to work out, but my friends and family tell me, they encourage me to do something like this, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to talk about something near and dear to me, which is cannabis and politics and how they relate to each other. Because right now we are on the cusp of something really interesting and quite substantial, at least in my opinion, and that is the reclassification of cannabis. Now, this has been getting some play in the news, and there are some there are some articles and ideas about this subject. And I figure, hey, I'd like to throw my 2 cents in on the conversation, despite how unimportant I truly am in the discussion, because this is how I truly feel, and I hope maybe this is something that other people can, you know, relate to, or at least understand. So here it goes. I believe truly that the reclassification of cannabis is essential to boosting our economy, stabilizing our legislative efforts, and creating a platform across the nation that truly marks a path for progress. Now, the reasons I believe this are myriad, and I'll go ahead and go into them. The first reason I definitely believe this is because number one, um, the proof has kind of been showing itself already. With the states that have already legalized it, there hasn't been a dramatic upheaval in terms of legal issues. There hasn't been a dramatic upheaval in terms of drug use or violent crime or anything that would be associated with shifting a paradigm such as cannabis legalization. So it stands to reason that if we haven't seen this adverse reaction in the most popular of places, because bear in mind, the three largest cities in the United States all have legal cannabis usage laws, and there haven't been issues in any of those three cities related to cannabis usage. So that at least tells you, in and of itself, that the general American public can absolutely handle the reclassification of cannabis and that it might be a little bit overdue in terms of its social consequences. In addition to that, there are elements of our government that could use a boost that cannabis legalization or reclassification can absolutely help with, such as the Department of Agriculture or the Department of Commerce, or even helping us relate to other countries that have legalized it on a national level. It can help us coordinate aspects of trade and the economy that we've never seen before and will absolutely mean something meaningful to our GDP and our economic standing as a nation. Even to the individual, you will definitely see a benefit within this. I mean, when you introduce a cash crop that has a built in audience and has legal leverage, then what are the chances it's going to fail on a national level? Other countries have proven this, states in our own country have proven this, and I definitely want to be the kind of person to encourage this even more. With more to say about it, like perhaps cannabis reclassification can help them look into studies to help curb addiction. I mean, I can tell you anecdotally that cannabis has helped curb addictions. It's also helped me with health problems, at least in a supplemental fashion. And at the same time, I understand why someone would be adverse to such a dramatic paradigm shift. But I don't feel like this paradigm shift is even as dramatic as the paradigm shift of the internet being a part of our lives. And if we can adapt to something like that, we can absolutely adapt to something like cannabis reclassification. And to me, and I do mean to me, maybe only, probably the most meaningful aspect behind centering ourselves on the focus of cannabis legalization is its medical applications. I spoke about it being anecdotally meaningful to me in terms of helping me deal with various medical conditions that are difficult to traverse on their own. And that is true for so many people, especially with us in the midst of what can only be described as a mental health crisis across the nation. And that definitely adds to the value that cannabis can certainly add something meaningful to that conversation. And yeah, it could definitely improve discourse. I mean, bear in mind at this point that cannabis is a bipartisan issue. I mean, there are very few people around the country in every aspect of society that objects to this principle, a principle that most likely should have happened decades ago. But you know what they say, the best time to do it was back then, but the second best time is right now. And that definitely applies to this principle more than anything. And I just wanted to add my 2 cents in, a 5 minute ramble about the virtues of cannabis reclassification, and maybe in a more bright future, this will start a conversation. But I guess I just wanted to add my voice to the shuffle because if I can start a conversation, or if anybody listening to this can help start a conversation with this and move this principle forward, I think that would be good for everyone in one way or another. And that's all that I have to say. That's alls I know.